afternoon, everyone. Today is health class number 37. It's April 30th, 2011, and our talk today is hydrotherapy. We have 5 weeks from tomorrow until our health fair. So today's talk is hydrotherapy. The homework for this week is to go to the number 3angelshistoric.com to the website, and then click health. And then look for the health nugget that talks about the importance of water external application. There's a lot of information on that I won't be covering today. We're told in Desire of Ages, page 824, paragraph 1, in the Savior's manner of healing, there were lessons for his disciples. On one occasion, he anointed the eyes of a blind man with clay and bade him go wash in the pool of Siloam. He went his way, therefore, and washed and came seeing. John 9:7. We are told the cure could be wrought only by the power of the great healer. The water doesn't heal. It's only the power of the great healer. Yet Christ made use of the simple agencies of nature. While he did not give countenance to drug medication, he sanctioned the use of simple and natural remedies. He did not give sanction to what? Drug medication, but he gave sanction to natural remedies. Now, what is hydrotherapy? What does hydro mean? Hydro means water. And therapy, type of treatment. So water treatments. So hydrotherapy is nothing but water treatments. Do you know the history of where water therapy came from? Water treatments. The use of water treatments used to be used back in the days of the Romans. They used to use the Roman baths. But during the Dark Ages, they had lost the water treatments. There was a gentleman in the 1800s named Vincent Priesnitz. You spell it Priessnitz. In the early 1800s, he saw how his horse, when he would wade in the water and drink the water after he had been sick, he saw that his horse was better. So he thought if it could work for a horse, it could work for a human. So he started doing treatments on people who were sick, and noticed that the water treatments were very beneficial to their healing. And then later, we know that the Lord gave Sister White visions regarding health. Now next week I'll be talking about those, tomorrow I'll be talking about the quotes. But Sister White, many people try to say she learned from the doctors of her day, she learned from the books written in her day regarding health, but she said the Lord never let her read that, to show that God was the one who was leading her in the health movement. And even though they had water treatments in those days, they didn't realize the significance according to the Bible. They just thought, okay, water treatments are nice. But when religion was brought into it and they said God said to use it, it became more popular. So it wasn't until the visions of Sister White that water treatments became very popular because of the Advent movement. Is that understandable? Okay. Water comes in 3 forms. What are those forms? Solid, liquid, and what? Gas. Vapor, gas. And all 3 can be used for treatments, whether you do it internally or externally. In Ministry of Healing, page 127, paragraph 2, we are told pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power. These are the true remedies every person, does that include me? Does that include you? Does that include you? Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. So not only are we to have a knowledge of what the laws of health are, we are to know how to what? Apply them. Don't just say New Start, nutrition, exercise. You tell them how to apply these laws of health. And we're going to be talking about water today. It is essential both to understand the principles involved in the treatment of the sick and to have a practical training that will enable one rightly to use this knowledge. Hello. In Second Selected Messages, page 346, paragraph 4, we are told we answer our own prayers by using the remedies within our reach. How do we answer our prayers? By using the remedies within our reach. If we ask God for healing and we're not using the remedies within our reach, are we answering our prayers? No. Water, wisely applied, is a most powerful remedy. As it is used intelligently, favorable results are seen. What kind of results? Favorable. But as it is used intelligently. She also says use wisely. So can we use it unintelligently and unwisely? Yes. God has given us intelligence and He desires us to make the most of His health-giving blessings. We are to use every blessing God has placed within our reach for the deliverance of those in danger. Natural means used in accordance with God's will bring about supernatural results. We ask for a miracle, and the Lord directs the mind to some simple remedy. So what are we talking about today?
Water therapy.
That's right. Water therapy, water treatments. Okay. Ministry of Healing 237, paragraph 1. In health and in sickness, pure water is one of heaven's choicest blessings. Its proper use promotes health. So can there be an improper use? If she says its proper use promotes health, can there be an improper use?
Yes.
Absolutely. And she talks about it. She talks about the dangers. In her day, they were using cold rags for a lot of different ailments, and it was causing problems, and she said some people were dying. She said to use cool or warm, lukewarm water instead of the cold. And I used to use the cold all the time until I read her quotes regarding the use of water. She says, it is God's medicine for the restoration of health. It is God's what? Medicine. So does God have medicine? Yes, that's right. Pure air, good water, sunshine, beautiful surroundings. These are His means for restoring the sick to health in natural ways. That's Ministry of Healing 233. Medical Ministry 227. Our people should become intelligent in the treatment of sickness without the aid of poisonous drugs. Our people should become what? Intelligent in the treatment of the sick without the use of what?
Poisonous drugs.
So if someone comes to you and says they have a headache, should you give them a Tylenol? If someone tells you they have pain, should you give them Tylenol or morphine or codeine or Vicodin? No, we are counseled over and over. We are not to use medication. Many should seek to obtain the education that will enable them to combat disease in its varied forms by the most simple methods. What kind of methods? Is it to be complicated? No, simple methods. Thousands have gone down to the grave because of the use of poisonous drugs. How many? And in our day, it's millions and millions. Who might have been restored to health by simple methods of treatment. Water treatments. What kind of treatments? Water treatments, wisely and skillfully given, may be the means of saving many lives. So is this something we need to know? Absolutely, because she said wisely, intelligently used can save many lives. All gospel workers. What is that?
All workers.
All gospel workers. Are we to all be gospel workers?
Amen.
Absolutely. All gospel workers should know how to give the simple treatments that do so much to relieve pain and remove disease. Ministry of Healing, page 145, paragraph 2. So water treatments can relieve pain. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do. The external application of water is one of the easiest. Remember we learned simple treatments? She says it's the easiest. Would that be simple? It's one of the easiest and most satisfactory ways of regulating the circulation of the blood. So if somebody has a circulatory problem, what should we do? Should do water treatments. That's Ministry of Healing, page 237, paragraph 1. And she says you cannot have health unless you have perfect circulation. So if somebody has improper circulation, water treatments is one of the easiest methods to get their circulation back in order. This is Ministry of Healing 237, paragraph 2. She says, but many have never learned by experience the beneficial effects of the proper use of water, and they are afraid of it. Water treatments are not appreciated as they should be. What did she say? Water treatments are not appreciated as they should be. And to apply them skillfully requires work that many are unwilling to perform. But none should feel excused for ignorance. None should feel what? So, because you don't know how to do it, is that an excuse? No, we're supposed to educate ourselves, right? Absolutely. Or indifference on this subject. There are many ways in which water can be applied to relieve pain and check disease. All should become intelligent in its use in simple home treatments. How many should become intelligent? All should become intelligent. Mothers especially. If you have children, this goes especially to you. And fathers. Mothers especially should know how to care for their families in both health and sickness. In Second Selected Messages, page 288, paragraph 1, the Lord has taught us that great efficacy for healing lies in a proper use of water. These treatments should be given skillfully. Okay, application of water can relieve the following. We're told pain. That's in Ministry of Healing 237. Feverish state of the body. Do you know in the hospital they put people when they're sick and you're hospitalized, they put a lot of people on what this is called. Does anyone know what that is? NPO. That's a sign they put over the bed of a lot of people. This stands for a Latin word. I don't know the Latin word by heart, but it's nothing by mouth. Sister White said they have killed many people by taking the water away from them. Water should be given to every person. Even if they're on a liquid restriction, they need water. We should never hold water from anyone internally, no matter what the doctors say. So if you have a loved one in the hospital and they tell them they can't have any water, unless they're going to get tested right then and there. But to go 12 hours and 24 hours, some people have gone as far as 48 hours without water in these hospitals. It's very dangerous. Water is very, very important for health. Feverish state of the body, Medical Ministry 281 to 282. It regulates blood circulation. Ministry of Healing 237. It cleanses the body tissues, counsels on diets and foods, page 420 to 421. It helps with the stroke. And if you read Medical Ministry 228, paragraph 2, I'll read that quote to you. She says, tell me if this sounds like a stroke. Experimenting in drugs is a very expensive business. Paralysis of the brain and tongue. Is that a stroke? Is often the result, and the victims die an unnatural death. When if they had been treated perseveringly with unwearied, unrelaxed diligence, with hot and cold water, hot compresses, packs, and dripping sheet, they would be alive today. Simple, right? Water, how much does water cost to get out of a faucet? Not too much, right? If you own a house, you might have a little water bill. Okay, lung fever. What's a lung fever? It's pneumonia. Second Selected Messages, page 304 to 306, tells you how to apply it for lung fever. We are told bathing. Now, in her day, they used to bathe, right? And did they have tubs that water just ran out? No. They had to get their bucket or go to their well, lift up the water. It was a lot of work, right, to bathe? Now, what do we have today that has kind of replaced baths?
Showers.
Right. We have showers, right? We have shower. Now, I'm assuming we all shower on a regular basis, but do we all bathe twice a week? Do we all fill up the tub, get in the tub and sit in there twice a week. Do you know she said we should fill up the tubs and sit in a bath twice a week because of the internal organs of our body? See, having a shower has taken that away.
That's right.
Yes. But bathing is very therapeutic and it's very beneficial. So we really should take a bath, have those 2 Calgon nights a week. You know? Get your little blow-up pillow, put it behind your head, and just relax in your tub. We should bathe twice a week, she says. And she's not talking about for cleanliness. She's talking about for the internal organs of the body. Okay? We are told to drink water freely in Counsel on Diets and Foods, page 419. In health and sickness, pure water is one of heaven's choicest blessings. Its proper use promotes health. It is the beverage which God provided to quench the thirst of animals and man. It is coffee's the beverage. Juice is the beverage to quench thirst. Juice? What is it? Water. We should drink water on a regular basis. Drunk freely, water helps to supply the necessities of the system and assists nature to resist disease. It helps to supply, the external application of water is one of the easiest and most satisfactory ways of regulating the circulation of the blood. A cold or cool bath is an excellent tonic. Warm baths open the pores and thus aid in the elimination of impurities. Both warm and neutral baths soothe the nerves and equalize the circulation. So if somebody's stressed out and they're having nervousness, what should they do? They should be in a cool bath, right? Okay, second selected message is 289. We are told he can use water and sunshine and the herbs which he has caused to grow. In healing maladies brought on by indiscretion or accident, what would an accident be?
Something unprevented.
Right. It's not from a sickness. It's not from a disease. But let's say you got hit in the ribs in a car accident. Is that an accident? Yes, let's say something fell off a roof and hit you in the head. Is that an accident? So the water treatments can be used not only for sickness and disease, but for accidents as well. Trauma. If you sprain your foot, what are you supposed to do? Who knows? Ice. That's right. Why? Because what does it do? When it's swelling, it constricts the vessels. It brings the swelling down. It says true faith. Now what did Jesus say? Would he find what when he comes back? Will he find faith in the earth, right? Listen to what she says true faith is. True faith will thank God for the knowledge of how to use these precious blessings in a way which will restore mental and physical vigor. So if we have true faith, what are we supposed to do? Thank the Lord for the remedies, right? That's what she says. Okay, now, here are key things to keep in mind, and then we're going to go into our PowerPoint presentation. Whenever you're doing water treatments with anyone, know the diagnosis of your patients, because you might have some diabetics who have no feeling, and what may not be hot to you could be very hot to them. So what part of your body should you use to check the temperature? Moms, what? Your elbow. If it's too hot here, it's going to be too hot for them. Number 2, keep patients covered at all times when doing these treatments. You always want to have modesty. And should it be woman on man? We're counseled, a woman should treat a woman and a man should treat a man. Now, if you're dealing with the feet and stuff, okay, if you're the only one, then that's fine. But if you have to undress them, a man needs to do it. Alrighty. Be gentle on the elderly because their skin breaks very easily. So when you're touching the elderly, if you're doing water treatment, be very gentle because their skin is like paper. It rips very easily. Keep them modestly covered at all times. We talked about that. Keep an eye on them on a reaction they might have. Ask them every minute, is it too hot? Is it too cold? Constantly talk to them as you're doing the water treatments. Okay? Check the temperature, as we said before. And what we should do whenever we do any treatment? We should pray and ask for God's healing, right? And His blessing. Alrighty, who has the 7th edition of the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia? They're not going to have them for a while. They sent them all back because they said the binding, some people were having problems. So they sent their whole shipment. They're not going to have them for several weeks because I went to order a few boxes. They don't have them right now. But if you have the 7th edition, on pages 211 and 214, there are basic things to know about hot and cold water treatments. On pages 214 to 216 and 209, special cautions regarding hydrotherapy. So we're supposed to educate ourselves. And in this book, you can have it, and it's in the 6th edition and the 5th edition, but I don't know exactly what pages in those books. There's a chart for hot and cold water treatments on page 247. There's water treatment terminology on page 218. Different water treatments are explained on page 219 through 221. Water therapy demonstrations, there's a whole bunch of pictures on how to demonstrate. Really nice pictures, live pictures for the carafe on the head and ice packs and whatever water treatment they're doing. There's a picture in the book. Okay, that's pages 222 to 268. Enemas, irrigations of the colon, ear, nose, and throat, and douches are on page 268 to 271. If you want to know what the temperature of the water should be for the different water treatments you're doing, there's a water treatment temperature table on page 271. And then, if you want it, let's say they have a headache, or they have appendicitis, or they have arthritis, on pages 273 to 275, whatever the disease is, it'll tell you what page the water and what water treatment to do. So we can use that book and educate ourselves regarding water treatments. Now, before we continue, does anyone have any questions? Any questions about water treatments? And on here, I'm going to email this to everyone. There are 19 videos. I'll ask you just 1 minute, sorry. There's 19 videos that Wildwood Lifestyle Center where they did different water treatments. They tell you the supplies. They have the list on the screen. They demonstrate everything for you, from headache to high blood pressure. Whatever the problem is, they go over it on those videos. And so if you just type in number 1, word for word, letter for letter as it is here, once you get that first one up, you'll see all the other ones. And there's 19 of them. You had a question, sister?
On an aneurysm, is there a treatment for an aneurysm?
You know,
By water?
did you say hot water?
By water, just by water.
I'm sure there is for any disease, but I don't know what it is. I'm still learning myself.
I was just wondering in the book.
I'm thinking something probably cool for constricting, because aneurysm is a bursted vessel.
Right.
So I'm not sure though. You might want to call Wildwood and ask them, but they might cover that in the videos. I'm still learning and there's a lot of diseases we have to work with. But as far as aneurysm, I'm not sure. Okay, now we're going to go on with our PowerPoint today. Can you guys all see that? Okay, hydrotherapy water treatments for home. In the beginning, it's going to seem basic, but as we go further into it, it's going to get a little bit more. Did you know that there is a simple method of treatment for many troublesome ailments, as we talked earlier? One that's inexpensive and available in your own home. That method is what we called earlier hydrotherapy. It's the use of water in the treatment of various health conditions. It is one of nature's simplest and most effective remedies. Natural remedies. The Lord has supplied the natural world with remarkable health-restoring agents. Water, fresh air, sunlight, and a wide variety of healing herbs, to name a few. We talked about this earlier. These natural remedies have several things in common. They are what? Available to who?
Everyone.
They can be easily incorporated into any home treatment plan. They are what? Inexpensive. Remember we learned that the prophet of the Lord said, when we teach the health message, we have to teach it in the least expensive method of living. If the poor people cannot afford it, it is not God's method of healing. So we're not going to have quick fix elixirs and have to pay $25 for a bottle of Zango or Monavie or something like that, and you're spending $100 in 1 month. And you're not getting to the root of the problem. It has to be what the poor can afford. Now, if the poor are renting, are they paying for their water? No. The homeowners pay for the water. So the poor can afford the water. It has to be inexpensive. They're highly effective for today's diseases. Okay? External uses of water. Many of the health benefits obtained from the external use of water are due to its cleansing properties. Bathing daily keeps the skin's tiny openings, called pores, from becoming clogged so that body waste can be expelled. I don't know if this is the right, let me see, hold on. Yeah,
You said bathing, not showering.
bathing, that's right, bathing. Washing clothing frequently removes dirt and impurities so that they will not be absorbed through the pores into the body, placing a burden on the system. As basic as these principles are, they can have a profound impact on one's personal health. And you will come across a lot of people who do not bathe regularly and they do not wash their clothing regularly. And some of them can't afford to. Okay? Bathing daily. I don't know if this is going right. Let me see something. Hold
That's
on.
bathing daily.
Yeah.
No, I was reading off of there. It doesn't seem right. I could be wrong. Let me just make sure. That's not the picture I have, but maybe it is. Okay, the color on here is not the greatest. In addition to cleansing, water treatments can assist the body's effort to heal infections, injuries, and a multitude of other discomforts and diseases. External uses of water, bathing daily. We talked about washing clothes. This is not. Okay, here we go. In addition to cleansing, water treatments can assist the body's effort to heal infections, injuries, and a multitude of other discomforts and diseases. There we go. Water's healing advantages. It has virtually what? No side effects. Is that good?
Amen.
Absolutely. It can be easily applied to a specific body part. Unlike many medicines, water treatments produce no toxins or waste products that burden the liver and the kidneys. Did you know when you take medicine, it burdens your liver?
Yeah.
Because your liver has to break it down.
Right.
Instead, it actually helps to what? Eliminate toxins. Okay? Who's heard of the contrast bath? What is contrast? It's hot and cold. The hot and cold contrast bath is one of the simplest and most effective water treatments. It consists of immersing, which means dipping, any body part first in hot and then in cold water. And these are not so readily, these type of buckets, but you can go to Home Depot and for like $3, you can get a 5-gallon bucket. And I have a couple in my garage. I put one for left and right. So you have 1 foot left and 1 foot right. But you can get buckets, big buckets at Home Depot. And keep them at your house because you never know who's going to need water treatments. You can also get the basins that you use to like wash your dishes in for your sink. You know those basins? And you put in your sink and you fill it with water and put all your dishes in. You can get 2 of those. You could do one hot and cold if you have it for the arm, if you need it for the arm. Okay? It consists of immersing any body part first in hot and then in cold. Okay? Why hot? What happens when you dip it into hot? That's right. It's called vasodilation. It means it opens up. You know how you have a lid on a jar and you can't pop it open? And what do? Stick it under the hot water, huh? And then he says, pop. Okay? So, here's what happens to the body when hot and cold water is applied to the skin. The blood vessels widen when heat is applied, and they narrow with the application of cold. What is it called when they narrow? What's that medical word? Constrict. It's constriction. This change in the blood vessel size increases circulation. More oxygen and nutrients are brought to the affected area, and the removal of toxins and other waste product is sped up. As a result, there is more rapid healing.
Wait a minute, say that last part again. The removal
It says, this change in the blood vessel size increases circulation. More oxygen and nutrients are brought to the affected area, and the removal of toxins and other waste products is sped up. As a result, there's more rapid healing.
Okay, that's when it's dilated.
Hot and cold, when you're doing both.
Oh, okay.
Yes, if you're kind of sifting the blood, is what you're kind of doing. Because hot brings the blood to the surface and cold pushes it back. So when you're doing this, you're kind of giving that blood a sift. So that is what helps get rid of the toxins. Okay? Here are a few common ailments greatly benefited by the use of the contrast bath. Infections, especially infections of the hand and feet. Injuries to muscles or joints. We were talking about the ice on a sprained ankle. Arthritis. Bone fractures. And swelling of the feet and ankles. What is that called, what she has? It's edema. I just found out, you know what can cause edema? Dehydration. Yes, because what happens is, yes, when you don't have the water you need, sodium will go to that area and target that tissue, that organ. Because wherever sodium is, what follows? Water. So that's why you have the edema. A lot of these people are dehydrated. The problem can be fixed with water, internally and externally. This contrast bath is so simple that it can be easily done at home. Okay? Remember I was talking, those are the basins I was talking about. When you wash your dishes in, they sell them at Walmart. You know where you have the dish racks and stuff? Yes. Alrighty. Here's what you'll need. 2 containers large enough to cover the body part, or you can have the 2 buckets I was telling you about for the legs. A tea kettle or pot of hot water, a pitcher or cold water of ice, and a towel to dry the area after completing the treatment. So those are the 2 basins. Before you begin the treatment, assemble your equipment and be sure the room is warm and free of cold drafts. And why do you want to do that? That's right. It's good to begin the treatment with a prayer for God's blessing. Remember we said that before you start your treatment, always pray. Test the hot water with your elbow. Be sure if it's not too hot. The temperature should be between 104 and 108 degrees. How can you test the temperature? You can buy them at Walmart. Get a little temperature for a bath. A little thermometer. Then immerse the body part completely in the hot water for how many minutes? Who knows? 3 minutes in the hot water. Okay? After 3 minutes, transfer to the cold water for 30 seconds to 1 minute. How many rotations are you going to do? You want 3 to 5 cycles. Minimum of 3, maximum of 5. Keep the hot bath at the desired temperature by adding additional hot water. And when you're adding it, have them scoot their feet. If it's in a basin, have them scoot their feet to the side or take it out if the basin's not big enough. Because if you pour the hot water in there, you could scald them. All right? To receive the maximum benefit, it's wise to rest for 30 minutes after any hydrotherapy treatment before returning to your regular activities. All right? You want the rationale? Is that what you're asking? Okay, one of the reasons why is because when you are opening your vessels and closing your vessels and opening that can put stress on your body. Did you know that? Yes, it can put a type of stress, and so you want to relax. You want to give your body time to relax. All right. That's Dr. Scott Grievous from Wildwood. I've been learning a lot underneath him. Okay, let's go. Here are several precautions when giving hot and cold baths. Instead of hot and cold, use only warm and cool baths. If there is loss of feeling or poor circulation to the legs and feet. This is especially common in diabetes, as I was mentioning early. For these people, it's very important to test the water temperature. As a general rule, when using your elbow, if you can leave your elbow comfortably in the water, you may proceed with the treatment. Why diabetics? What do they get where they lose the loss of sensation? Neuropathy? Yes. And in the case of an infection, Be sure to disinfect the equipment after treating an open sore or infected wound. This will prevent the spread of infection. Okay, so it says use warm. This is different than what's on my script. Okay, let's keep going. So diabetes. Disinfect the equipment, as we said earlier. Alrighty. Now, the contrast bath has helped many people regain their health without having to use harmful or expensive medications. We were talking about that earlier. This treatment can be given as needed several times a day. Medication, can you give it several times a day? If you're on like a schedule, you have to follow the schedule, right? But with water treatments, you can give it, and you don't have to be on any particular schedule. Okay, there's a contrast shower. Let's take a moment to discuss another highly effective treatment, the contrast shower. Who's done a contrast shower? I do them all the time, especially if I start getting a runny nose. This treatment acts as a healthy stimulant and energizer, promoting good circulation and all-around physical health. Sir Alexander Fleming, do you know who he is? Guess what he discovered? What's PCN stand for? Penicillin. Made another very important discovery. He learned that in the secretions of the nose and throat, our body produces a natural antiseptic called lysosome. When the secretions of the throat are slightly acid in reaction, this substance is active against invading germs. Isn't that amazing? Helping to prevent colds. One of the best ways to keep these secretions slightly acid and to maintain an effective disease against colds is what? To do a hot and cold shower. So how long do you do it for? 3 minutes? 30 seconds cold. But you want to do it as hot as you can and as cold as you can without burning yourself or going into shock. But when you go from that hot and that extreme cold, now with people that you're not aware of, you can't be so drastic right away. You got to ease it from hot to cold. But for ourselves, if we're not sickly, you go from hot to cold. Like you have your hot water on, and then as soon as you're done, you twist the hot and you put the cold. Woo! It shocks you, wakes you right up. Do you know what it increases in your body? Your T cells. What are your T cells responsible for? Your immune system. That's right. Even patients who have been plagued with recurring colds for months have found this remedy effective. By taking a daily hot shower and ending with a quick cold shower, many were able to remain free from colds. It even works for people who have depression. Something with the T cells. When those T cells go up, the depression goes away with many people. How do you do it? We talked about earlier. The concept is really very simple. You switch back and forth between hot and cold water while showering. For example, on a daily basis, start with a hot shower. For several minutes, you want it to be hot enough that it's going to feel good to cool off. And you can use like a loofah pad or a wash rag and start from your lower extremity going higher up towards the heart. Never go from the heart down. Always go away, which is called distal and proximal. Distal's the bottom, proximal's closer to the heart. And rub like this and have your skin turn pinkish color.
Why?
Yes? Because you're bringing it towards the heart. Okay? You're bringing it towards the heart. Okay, you want it to be hot enough that it's going to feel cool to, good enough to cool off. Soap up and wash during this time. And when finished, switch to cold. For about how many seconds did I say?
30.
To what was the maximum? 1 minute. 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds to 1 minute for cold. I can't handle 1 minute cold. 30 seconds is like, whoo, that's cold, and especially in the winter time. And when do most people get their colds? In the winter time. Yes. As a treatment, the procedure is similar but includes repetitions. After 3 minutes of hot water and 30 to 60 seconds of cold, Go back to a nice hot shower for another 3 minutes. It will feel great. But what should you rinse off in? What should we rinse off in whenever we're finished? You know, it's a myth. You know showering and washing your hair in the wintertime does not make you sick, right? But it can make you sick if you do what? That's right, you have to rinse off in cold. Why? Because it closes the pores. If you wash in a hot shower, I have washed my hair in the winter for years and I have never been sick. But one day last winter, I washed my hair in the winter and I started getting the sniffles when I went outside. And I remember I was in a hurry and I forgot to switch it to cold. And that was the first time I'd done that in 20 years. I've been doing hot and cold for 20 years. And if you hang around me, you'll know I don't get sick. So, okay? We're told get a bit more aggressive, switch to cold a little more quickly for a more rapid transition to a colder temperature. As you get used to contrast showers, you will be able to tolerate colder temperature. Okay, there's hot and cold. For the best possible results, the changes from hot to cold should be abrupt. But when you're dealing with other people, you want to go mild. Be careful. What do I mean when I say abrupt? Fast. Have your hand on the hot. As you're turning it off, you're turning on the cold. And you're right under the shower. And rinse your whole body. And turn around and let it fall down your spine. Water treatments to your spine are wonderful for your health and for your nervous system. Okay? Repeat for 3 to 5 cycles of hot and cold. And remember, it's important to always finish with the cold and then dry off quickly. So we talked about 3 to 5 cycles. Some extra rest after the treatment is also helpful. Bye, guys. Why do we want rest after the hot and cold treatment? That's right. And it could put a little stress on your body, right? Alrighty. The laws of nature, which God designed to govern the universe, also govern our human bodies, keeping them in harmonious working order. Living in harmony with the laws of our being is the surest way to preserve and restore physical health. Natural remedies are far more effective when God's health principles are practiced in the daily life. The following lifestyle habits work hand in hand with the healing water treatments. Eating nutritious food, of course, we know. Drinking plenty of water. How much water should we drink a day?
Half your body in weight in ounces.
Half your body weight in ounces plus 2 cups in the morning upon arising. Then 30 minutes later, 2 cups in the morning upon arising, we are told to drink. And it should be warm water. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She said it'll clean your bowels and open up your organs in your body. And then you take, who needs to know how to divide your water?
I do.
Okay, we'll do it here. If you weigh 160 pounds and you divide it by 2, that's 80. Okay? Plus, here in the valley or in Tehachapi, if you're like above 1,000 feet, you want to add an additional 16 ounces. So that's a total of 96 ounces. Now, if you wake up at 6 in the morning, let's say you wake up at 6 a.m., you should drink 16 ounces of water. That is not included in this. Then within 30 minutes, you want to start. Now why did I say 30 minutes? And why are you drinking 2 cups in the morning when you wake up?
Because your body's drained all the water to sleep.
Yes, because you urinate in the morning. You're losing fluid. You have to replace that fluid. And what are we told is excellent? Thank you. What are we told? He's such a great camera person. What are we told is excellent to put in our water?
Lemon.
Lemon. And should the water be cold, cool, or warm in the morning?
Warm.
It should be warm water. So let's say you woke up at 6. Now it's 6:30 in the morning. Dehydration can set in quickly. Now, let's say you go to bed at 10 at night. Let's say you go to bed at 9 at night. Okay? Because we should be in bed. A light should be out at 9. We should be asleep before 10. So let's say you go to bed at 9 p.m. From 6:30, we'll round it off. We'll say 7 to an hour before you go to bed, 8 o'clock. So 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. How many hours is that? 13, because 7 to 7 is 12, plus one more is 13. Now you're going to take 13 hours, and you're going to divide it into 96. So that's about 7 and 5/13, so almost a half. So you're looking at about 7.5 cups every hour from this time until 9 p.m. And you fill up your cup. So 7.5, if you have a measuring cup of 1 cup, you'd go just a little bit less than that. Fill it up, have it at your side. You could pour it in a water bottle if that's better for you, but don't have any more. And start sipping it. Put your timer on. I tell people, start using a timer. If you're not used to drinking your water, start using a timer. Now, do we want to wait 59 minutes and then drink all this at one time?
No.
We want to sip it throughout the hour. Now, you're going to have those instances. You're not going to be able to do this at all times. But we want to make this a habit as much as possible. If you do this, you will be hydrated throughout the day. And in the summertime, should we increase it? 16 to 32 ounces more minimum. Because the more you sweat, the more you need to replace it. Yes?
This person told me that if you have like cold in your chest,
Uh-huh.
and then you drink the water and you put a tip of salt on your tongue, it
Excellent,
cleans it
and
up.
we're going to talk about that. You're right, mucus. It will get rid of mucus. Did you know that dehydration? I always wonder, why do I have mucus? I do not eat dairy products. Mucus can be produced from dehydration.
Okay.
Did you guys know that? Okay, this isn't erasing very well. It's kind of staining on here. Let's see. Okay, we're almost done. So did you guys understand that with the water?
Yes.
Sister, I have a question.
Yes.
What about when you're eating? Don't we say it's supposed to have a time between when you eat, not drink?
Okay, we talked about that last week. Yes. There's a famous teaching among Adventists to wait an hour before you eat your meals and 2 hours after. I've not read that quote anywhere. That could cause dehydration to set in. What the prophet of the Lord says is if you need water, drink a little bit right before your meal and a little bit right after. But before you eat and after you eat, you don't want to go. But there's nothing wrong with taking a sip, a little bit, and then when you feel like you're needing a little more, drink it. We cannot be fanatical because dehydration causes serious problems in the body. And we're very dehydrated in this valley. Is that understandable?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with quenching your thirst a little bit, drinking a little water after you've eaten.
Okay.
She said shortly after. Is that 2 hours?
No.
No. Now, if we drink the way we're supposed to, sipping it, instead of waiting 3 hours and then drinking a liter at one time, we don't have to worry about that problem. And if we're as hydrated as we should be, we really don't need any liquids before we eat. But some people they still need the liquids. So she said a little bit before and a little bit after. We covered that last week.
So it's no hour, 2 hours?
No.
Where do we get that from?
I don't know. Okay, eating nutritious food, drinking plenty of water, exercising outdoors, in the fresh air and sunshine, abstaining from hurtful drugs such as alcohol, nicotine, caffeine. This is just part of our laws of health. Resting, getting proper rest, trusting in God. Now, what are the 2 acronyms we use?
Start.
New Start,
Start.
Start New, that's another one, and God's Plan, right? What is the G for? Godly trust, right? I heard Brother Shalom Flemings. He gave a talk on our conference call. You guys listen in the conference calls, they're powerful. It's medical missionary workers around the U.S. who are talking every Thursday evening at 5:15 Pacific Standard Time, and we finish around 6:15. We have question and answer time. If you have any questions about disease, I mean, we've had some of the most powerful speakers. Sheldon Flemings was this past Thursday. Close that door, thank you. And he was saying that he stopped using godly trust because we tell people what to do, but we don't give them the practical application. He said he started telling people God's promises. Because it's the promises that give us the victory. It's the promises that we are told that we'll escape the pollutions in the world. So trust goes along. As you start reading the promises, the trust comes with it.
Makes sense.
Amen. Now, our last one, we have two more. Just a few more. The only true source of health and healing is the creator of mankind. Throughout history, God has often used natural remedies as his chosen means for the restoration of health. Water played an important part in one of the most notable healings recorded in the Bible. Who is that? Who is that in the Bible?
John the Baptist.
Let's name it. Remember, he was sick. What did he have?
Oh,
Leprosy. This story is recorded in 2 Kings chapter 5. On the recommendation of a little captive maid, Naaman, the Syrian captain, came with a letter to Israel king, seeking to be healed of his leprosy. Who was he sent to?
Elijah.
He was sent to what? What was Elijah? Prophet. Do we have a prophet today? Where can we get information from this prophet regarding health? Ministry of Healing. Ministry of Healing is called the wisdom of the great physician. To the distraught king, the prophet Elisha said, "Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel." Is there a prophet in Israel today? Amen. Are we Israel in the spirit? Absolutely. So if they had a prophet, we had a prophet. If they're literal Israel and we're spiritual Israel, God's going to do us the same way he did them, right? Absolutely. When Naaman came to Elisha's door, he was directed, "Go and wash in the Jordan River 7 times, and your flesh will be restored." At first, Naaman was angry. He expected Elisha to call upon his God and heal him instantly. Don't a lot of people expect some great miracles and miraculous healing? But we have to teach them that they're responsible for their health, right? How much sickness is due to transgression? Counsel on Health, page 37, she says, "It is a sin to be sick. All sin is due to transgression of God's laws." In Jesus' day, it wasn't that way. Some of it was for the glory of God. Now, when a person gets healed with the remedies, that doesn't mean God won't get the glory. But in 2011, all sickness is because of violation of the laws of health. People say, well, in God's day, it was because it was for glory of God. Well, in Jesus' day, they ate fish. Do we eat fish today? She says on Counsels on Health, page 37, "It is a sin to be sick. All sickness is due to a violation of God's laws." That's not my word. That's her. God. That's Jesus' words. That's not even her words. That's Jesus' words. So he was told to go and wash in the Jordan River 7 times, and your flesh will be restored. At first, Naaman was angry. He expected Elisha to call upon his God and heal him instantly. But when by faith he submitted to God's command and dipped in the Jordan's water 7 times, he was cleansed of his leprosy. Let me ask you a question. In those days, was Satan able to counterfeit healing? No, but he has. No, he didn't counterfeit healing in those days. You don't see any of it. But has he practiced it over the years? Is he good at it today?
Yeah.
Doesn't the Bible say he's going to put disease in people and take it out? That's why the Lord doesn't work that way anymore. He doesn't work miraculous healing. Not to say it won't happen in some cases, but that is not how he's asked us to work with the people. He has asked us to physically work with them. And today we're talking about hydrotherapy. That's 2 Kings 15:5-10. When ill, we, like Naaman, often desire immediate miraculous healing. Yet God often chooses to work in another way, through simple natural remedies. Through a wise use of these health-restoring agents, we too may experience the blessing of abundant health. Pretty nice, huh? You guys have any questions about anything that we talked about regarding?
I don't have a question, I have a comment.
Okay.
In the winter, when we get sick, it also has to do with all the sugar within the holidays.
That's right.
And that's what really is the sick, we eat too much sugar. The other thing is that the other day I was looking on MSN News, and they were talking about in the South, they have leprosy.
Yes, I read that. I read that on
It's
Yahoo.
coming back from armadillos. Even if you're not eating it, it comes from eating them, but even if you're not eating it, it's contagious.
In the South.
In the South, they eat armadillos. And so it just goes to show you that we need to leave these animals alone because they all have diseases. And it actually said from animals, and then later on it tells you it's an armadillo. So,
Well, when you have 2 million fish washing up shore and 50,000 birds falling out the sky in one city and 100,000 falling out the sky in another city and hundreds of thousands of crocodiles and alligators washing up shore and whales washing up shore, I think it's signs of the times. I think we really need to be leaving those things alone. Any questions about the water treatment? And remember, I'm going to email this to you, today's talk, not the PowerPoint, but the quotes I read earlier. So you can go to the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia and you can educate yourself regarding hydrotherapy. No questions?
Amen.
Okay, Brother Martin, will you pray for us? We're all going to kneel where we are.
Dear Father in heaven, Lord, thank you for this time we've had to learn more of the treatments, dear Lord. Lord, we thank you for the instruction on how to use water in a more useful way, whether it's through hydrotherapy, through bathing, drinking, or even facets of our water, dear Lord. We thank you for that. We ask, Lord, that you continually teach us and guide us. So I ask and I pray in Jesus' name.